Good morning.
Good morning, Leslie. Hello, Charito. Hello, Dr. Ash. Nice to have you
Hello,
here.
Michael. Good to see you all.
Uh, I think there is no need to wait anymore. So let's start. And let me switch my camera off first. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the next Industry 5.0 Power of Touch event, in which we write on the back of a language towards wasteless world. And we do it talking about one term, one word, which I introduce right now. And the word is twist, Twist. And because, Leslie, I have you on the top of my screen, I will start with you again. So, when you learned a few seconds ago that the term will be twist, what came first to your mind, please?
Well, that's an interesting word. Good morning. They're the first thing, but then there are so many things that always flow afterwards. So it's sometimes hard to go with just the first thing. But the very first thing that popped into my mind was the dance of the 60s, because I was a teenager in the 60s, and the rage was the twist, which of course you know what this dance is where you're twisting your hips back and forth, and we just thought we were so phenomenal. Lots of fun, and it seems to have begun in rock and roll a whole history or lineage of the one word dance, such as the monkey. So when the monkey was one, then you it was like with your arms you were dancing or swinging through the trees, and then there was the swim, and as you were dancing, you moved your arms as though you were doing the Australian crawl. So that is what came to my mind first. Lots more to say, but I'll leave it at that one. I thought that was a fun memory.
Thank you very much, Leslie. And Charito, you will be the next one, which I will ask. I saw your raised hand, but the same question for you, Charito. When you heard the term twist, what came first to your mind, please?
Good evening, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
Uh,
clear.
Hello, Leslie, Dr. Ash. Sorry, I was absent. I had a slight accident last week. So my ribs was, you know, in the swimming pool. So for the past days, not so active at Lincoln because it's very painful. But because right now it's only talking, so that's why I'm here. Actually, twist fits the situation that I was in last week, Michael, because we're supposed to have the business and pleasure trip for 10 days, but the pleasure stopped because in the second day of the trip, instead of that plot or that plan, it was already twisted because I had a slight accident, so I have to stop all those. So that's a twisted plot, but it could be physical, like twisted ankle and all that. You're not able to walk properly, or you missed step as you walk, and those are twisted ankles. And actually, it's more on I love what Leslie said, the twist, the dance, and the 60s. I was still young, but I was dancing that always. So twist is a very, a simple word when one look at it, but it has a lot of meaning. And as we go along the way, I believe that it will all come out. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Charito, and I wish you good health and good recovery. Of course, I know how painful these can be. Dr. Ash, you are the next one, and you have heard about twist, but what twist wake up in your mind when you heard it for the first time?
Thank you very much, Michael, and hello, everyone. I'm very, very sorry to hear about Chirito's accident. And I think we all wish you the very best of health always. And may we all grow old on this particular show of Michael Rada. A twist is a sudden change, to my mind, a turn or surprise that alters the direction of events, thoughts, or emotions. I'm always thinking. And it's amazing how the word twist can be used in many different contexts in my mind, at least. It could include a thought process on literature, dance, sports, and everyday life. So my mind can twist and turn, and in all cases, it represents movement away from whatever is expected and towards something new or unpredictable. That is what life is all about. Life is extremely unpredictable. You don't know what twist it may take and where it may lead us all in the end. So, from COVID to wars to peace, hopefully, I think peace is on the anvil. And therefore, it's interesting what Leslie had mentioned. Um, Twisting in the 60s, yes, we kept fit. And now there's no more dancing, there's no more social life. Very few people meet. But a twist is often used to keep the audience interested. A plot, which is a twist, and it changes the story in an unexpected way, making readers rethink everything they believed before. Mystery and thrill stories especially rely on twists to create suspense and excitement. For example, a trusted character may turn out to be the villain suddenly in a story, or a hidden secret may completely change the meaning of the story. Good twists surprise the audience while still making sense within the storyline. Now, my wife and I normally put our feet up in the evenings and watch a movie every evening. We've got a nice big screen Samsung television, and luckily, thanks to technology, you can turn on any of the latest movies. So that's a twist of events that actually take place in our lives. Now, coming back to what Leslie had said, the word twist is also connected with the dance, of course. The twist was a famous dance style that became popular in the 1960s. It involved twisting the hips and feet rhythmatically to music. This dance became a cultural sensation because it was energetic, fun, and easy to perform. It brought people together and symbolized freedom and youthful expression during that era. In everyday life, twists often appear in the form of unexpected events. As I mentioned before, life rarely moves in a straight line. A person may plan for one career but discover a different passion later, the way it happened with me. Now, friendships, opportunities, and challenges can all take surprising turns. These twists may seem difficult at first, but they often help people grow stronger and wiser with time. Time and tide waits for no man, they say. And sometimes the most meaningful experiences come from situations we never planned for. So twists are always very important in nature and science. Twisting motions are seen in tornadoes, rivers, vines. And when I say vines, it's not that wine, but VINE, where you find it twisting around a tree or something that sort. And even DNA structures. Now, these patterns slow the mind as such and are part of the natural order of the world in the very word twist that, Michael, you've conjured up today for all of us. Now, to conclude, the idea of a twist represents a change, surprise, and transformation. Whether in stories, dance, or life itself, twists make experiences more interesting and memorable. They remind us that the unexpected can lead to discovery, excitement, and personal growth. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ash. And Usi, you are the youngest and the last one today, but you will receive the same question. Twist. What does it mean for you when you hear the term? I am not sure if you can hear me, Usi, but you are muted. So you need to unmute first. And I'm not sure if it will be possible. I will watch it. If not, we will continue. And when you are able to unmute, please do so, and I will arrange it. So I will come back to you, Leslie, to your answer, because, you know, I love twist. I love dance, and I was dancing, and twist was one of the dances I really loved because it moved the whole body, and yeah, it was beautiful. And but the very interesting connection is to the plot, twist as a plot. So you said many times that there is a balance, or there should be established a balance. There is all the time the pendulum, and so what is twist in the perspective of the pendulum? Is it the moment when it reached the farthest point on or goes back, or is it different?
Well, the answer would be relative to each of us because I see it as a spectrum, if you will. So the twist could come at any point. Um, what I wanted to share next, if you don't mind, the next thought, my second thought was the twisting of words. And even there the law of polarity is accessible because you're going to have a lot of misunderstanding and it can twist the meaning of the word to be either positive or negative. Those are roughly our choices. But the that is also relative to each one of us. How much twisting has a lot to do with the way we were raised, our level of education, our current understanding, and research shows, both scientific and empirical, that perception is always changing our points of view as we grow in mental health or we disintegrate into a poorer mental health state. That will color or affect the vibration of the meaning of the word to each person. So um, something totally unexpected that's negative can be very hurtful, and that comes from the person's limited view on the subject. And each word has a cellular vibration. So the twist in the meaning of a word will come from the sum total of our experiences, both positive and negative. And typically, we hear lots of negative because the negative experiences are thought about and repeated many, many times more than the possibility of something positive, which makes them reactive and dominant. So even without thinking, we will twist a meaning to match how we see the world in that moment, how we're feeling about what the world looks like to us. And so I'll leave it there that I think the important thing here is that what we make things mean, and we are, as humans, meaning making machines. We must have an answer. And in a state of confusion, we take no action. So, for many of us, picking the wrong answer, or let me just say wrong, regardless of whatever answer or reflection or observation we have about what's being said, whichever thoughts and feelings most often dominate our thinking is the color we will put on the meaning of a word. And those meanings are also known as labels. And I'll leave it there. Thank you, Michael. Interesting.
Thank you very much, Leslie. And I see Usi is already able to unmute. Usi, let me ask you the same question as I asked at the beginning. When you hear the term twist, what came first to your mind, please?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michael, for this opportunity. The word twist in a life is a sudden change of direction. Sometimes it comes without warning. A person may plan for success, but suddenly face failure. Someone may expect happiness, then meet disappointment. That is twist of life. A twist can also create something new. When we twist threads together, they become strong like a rope. In the same way, challenges can twist our experience into wisdom, resilience, and maturity. In a story and moves, a twist change everything. It surprises people and forces them to think differently. Life is also as it is own twist. Sometimes opportunity we need come discussed as a difficult. Technology too has entered a new twist. In the age of AI and Industry 5.0, the world is a changing direction rapidly. Machines are becoming intelligent, but humanity must remain at the source. This is modern twist of civilization, balance technology with human value. Even in relationships, community can twist emotions. A small misunderstanding and change friendship into difficult conflicts, or honestly can twist a plan into healing and understanding. Therefore, we should not fear twist. A twist does not always mean distraction. Sometimes it means transformation. Sometimes the road must bend before it reaches the destination. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Usi. It was very interesting to see it, even from the perspective of Industry 5.0 and humanity and the global development. Charito, Do you know that the twist in general originated in England in 13th century? And the very interesting part about it is that it generally changed its meaning. Originally, it was connected to rope making.
Oh, I did not know that, Michael. When I was young, I just danced it. I like the twist, it's jolly. And the people who danced that or enjoyed because you're twisting your ankles, your feet, and even your body. I did not know where it came from, but I think that dance, well, resonated around the world, reverberated around the world because almost everybody, I think, anywhere was reached by that music and the dance. So I did not know. I haven't followed what happened to that word, where it started, and then how it became. What is that again? It evolved into something like the ropes. Can you say it again, Michael?
Uh, the original meaning was connected to making the rope, so twisting the individual parts of the rope into one. And then at the very end, the very end was, I think, the twist, the dance, but before was change of the meaning, was the meaning of the word twist. So it really changed during the last 700 years, I will say. But my question to you, Charito, do you remember the most important twist of your life?
There were plenty, Michael. In fact, my accident was the biggest and saddest twist of fate for me. You know, nobody knew it would happen, but I believe that the twist of fate, well, God wills it for me, or it was a test for me. What next, Charito? Would you be able to accept it? Or as I am still giving you life, a new lease on life with this kind of legs? And that's a twist of fate. Because when I was younger, I sort of was well known. I was an achiever. I've been everywhere. So I thought, I have a huge future for me. And so I got married and all that. But then when it happened, suddenly my fate turned towards something else. And I'm still here, and thank God. I may, there are many twists of fate that I will face, but one thing I would say that I will never forget them. I'll use it as a tool, as a reason for me to go on and to be thankful to God. Thank you, Michael. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Charito. Dr. Ash, I would like to ask the same question as I asked Charito. Means, do you remember, if, or let's formulate it better, is there any really twist in your life which you will say this was the one which changed my life? Same as Charito says, it was the accident. Was something like that in your life?
Absolutely, I do believe so. Life, Michael, to me, is full of unexpected twists. And I would say that one major twist in my life that changed the world for me is when I planned my future around one dream. And that actually changed around to become a completely different path. I thought my parents wanted me to become a doctor like themselves. Both were doctors. And of course, I wasn't very good in physics and chemistry or maths even. And therefore, I realized straight away that my inherent weakness would not let me become. I couldn't remember those medical terminologies. So I decided to skip by whatever they had ordained for me, should I say. And my mother, one fine day, when I was finishing high school, she turned around and she says, "Well, what do you want to do now? Are you going to continue with medical science?" So I told her, I said, "No." I told her very frankly, I could confide in my mother. I couldn't confide in my father because he was very strict. He was a bit of a disciplinarian because he ran hospitals and he used to get up at 2 o'clock at night and go and visit hospitals. And therefore, this twist of fate, so far as I'm concerned, came about when I told my mother that I'd rather join the military. And she was a bit shocked. She says, "Well, you've got a very good brain. You are intelligent. You're quite an intellectual. So, really speaking, you should be thinking about not wasting your time. But, you know, you must change your thought process." So, when she broke the news to my father on the dining table, he himself was very upset because he thought that I'd make a good doctor. And he said, "All right, you've got 3 attempts to pass the ISSB, as it's called, the Inter-Services Selection Board. And if you fail the first time, then you've got to forget about it and go to medical college like me." So I said, okay, I agreed. And I went through the Inter-Services Selection Board beautifully by the grace of God Almighty. And I still remember the debate. I spoke like hell. I really let them have it. I'm good at talking, and they were impressed with whatever I said. It made sense to them. And besides, it convinced them that I was an outspoken person. So the only thing is that when one of the officers, when we went through the physical session, he asked me, he says, "Well, there's this tire hanging from the rope. How will you go through it?" My mind was foggled absolutely. I didn't know what to do. And then he smiled at me. He says, "You're too good otherwise, but you can't figure this out." So that is the twist that comes about in your life sometimes. And he said, "Son, all that you've got to do is hold on to the tire and put your legs through first and go. If you go head first, you'll crash on your head." So that was the way that I went into the military. And then, like, you see, like, that was a turning point, should I say, in my life. Instead of giving up, I decided to adopt and explore new opportunities. I began learning new skills, meeting different people, and discovering strengths within myself that I never knew existed. The experience taught me that life does not always follow the plans we make, but sometimes unexpected changes lead us towards something even better. Because I decided much later that the military didn't suit me. I was not using my brain as my mother had actually mentioned to me earlier on. And therefore, like, I went through a difficult period of trying to decide. And again, I thought that I would upset my parents by a change of thought process. But I decided to enter the corporate world, and I went back to England and did my MBA, started evening studies, working at the same time. It was a very difficult period. I had to become more patient and confident and resilient, also, should I say. I learned the importance of accepting challenges with a very positive mindset. Now, the way I look back, I realize that the twist I once feared actually helped me grow into a stronger person. It opened doors to experience and achievements I might never have reached otherwise. And then, like, you'll be surprised to know that I became the managing director or the chief executive of one of the biggest global pharmaceutical companies where we had about 2,600 people working in total. And after a lot of corporate experience, so these are the twists and changes that I'm describing in my life, where I became a big shot. And later, I realized that when I was invited to teach, that it's not money, it's not power that should go to the head. One should learn to twist and change direction towards whatever you're really good at. And that is where what I'm doing right now, talking to you all and convincing you all about anything that might matter to all of us together. So I turned towards teaching, and until today, I have notched up the teaching of 35 subjects in management sciences. And that by itself is by the grace of God. It's not mine alone. I thank God all the time for that. Like Sharito is a very holy person, and I hope to God that she'll pray for me all the time also, and I'll pray for her to get better after her accident, God willing. But I believe that miracles happen in life, and that is why the twists and turns and changes take place in our life. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that the twist in my life was not just an obstacle, but a valuable lesson. It showed me that setbacks can become opportunities if we face them with courage and determination. Life is full of surprises, which may be very difficult at first, but they often shape us into much better and wiser individuals. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you very much, Dr. Resh. And we have 7 minutes left, and I would like to ask the same question you, Usi. What was the biggest twist in your life?
Sorry, Michael. Pardon?
What was the biggest twist in your life?
Thank you, Michael, for this good question. So, when I was in college, I had a clear vision for my future. I believe that one day I would work in the government and build a stable life through education and hard work. That was the direction of my dreams at that time. But life introduced its own twists. Things did not happen the way I planned, and I failed to reach that goals. At the same time, there was a woman I truly loved. Our relationship grew into marriage, and together we were blessed with two beautiful children, a girl and boy. I believed that chapter of my life would last forever. But again, life brought another unexpected twist. Our marriage ended into divorce. This experience taught me that life does not always move in straight line. Sometimes we plan carefully, work hard, and love deeply. Yet the outcome changed suddenly. The twists of life can break expectations, but they can also build the character, wisdom, and resilience. Today, I understand that a twist is not always the end of the story. Sometimes it is a redirection. Sometimes failure teach us move that success. And sometimes pain teach us the value growth, patience, and self-understanding. Life twisted my plans and career and my relationships, but it also shaped the person I becoming. Thank you, Michael, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Usi. And Leslie, you will be today the last one who will tell me if there is a major twist or there was a major twist in your life. You have 3 minutes left.
Well, I'll just talk fast. Well, it's interesting because the one twist that really changed the course of my life, not for good or bad, for what it is, I didn't know or didn't become aware of until recently. I knew about this incident, but so often our originating incidents as children are so heavily imprint on our lives that it takes a lifetime to not only discover them, but then how to counteract them. Because in my case, I was 5 years old, and my mom and dad and I were at an amusement park at Revere Beach on the coast of Massachusetts. And as we walked by the roller coaster, all I remember seeing as a little girl were big white wooden ladders, right, that are interlocking and twisting and turning. And it's a huge ride, right, for children and for adults too. And my dad said, Leslie, that is the roller coaster. Do you want to go on that ride? And I said, no, Daddy, no, I don't want to go on that. I remember being very clear and shaking my head. A few minutes later, as we approached a ride that took us through a long, dark tunnel, as many rides do, we came out into the open and there were the ladders. I was on the roller coaster, and what I learned was that I could not trust my own father to protect me. The result of this has been a general and basic lack of trust in other people. And this is what I've been working on all my life, is to not let that lack of trust at a very basic level affect how I live and enjoy my life and interact with others. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Leslie. I think we can hardly end with better words. You know about the twist in my life, and in few days, in 4 days, it will be 1 year ago when I met Jane. And the term twist was proposed by Jane. So I am so happy that we have really touched the souls of every one of us. And I am so happy that one of the twists in our life was to meet, to talk, and do it every single week. So let me thank you, because there is the last minute left. Let me thank you for the time you spent with me today and with On the Back of a Language. And let me wish you have a nice time, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, be free, be human, and let's use the twist for learning, not for running away. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, Michael. Bye,
Bye bye,
Leslie.
everyone.
Bye,
God bless
Bye,
you
Dr.
all.
everybody.
Ash.
Good
Stay
show.
Bye,
positive.
UC.
Cheers.
God bless.
Bye-bye.